Hello, welcome back to my channel. So next week is 2 years for me running my business, Miracle Magnet Studios, my creative agency. And I thought, because I've already recorded quite a lot of videos around all the different elements that comes together and then what I actually done and faced and all the ups and downs. So I thought I'm gonna do a little bit of a year two recap. And then after that, I'm going to be recording everything in real time. And there will be a mix of content, not just business related stuff here on my channel. But I think the major question when you go into a reflection and then look back on your business after 2 years, would you start it again? And I can wholeheartedly say, with all the ups and downs and all the difficulties, that yes, this is definitely my path. I would definitely start it again. Obviously, the knowledge would be amazing to have when you get started. But what I learned on this journey is if someone would tell you all of those things, then you cannot experience everything that comes with running a business and you would not be able to learn and grow. So I now really appreciate all the ups and downs and all the difficulties and obstacles that I had to face. So I would wholeheartedly start the business again. Obviously, I would love to have started it with more funds at the beginning, because I think now looking back, year one for me was more like year zero and year two was more year one. Why am I saying that? Because when you start with no funds and no help that you can lean back onto, at the beginning, when you should be already learning the running of the business, the production, the different organization, productivity and efficiency tools, then you actually just can't focus on that because you're constantly trying to kind of already make money, which is not that easy from the get-go, even when you have funds. By the end of year one, I got to a point when I figured out what the market needs within my sector, within my business, and then what sort of service offering I can give to them. Obviously, you can never foresee like something like recession and AI, but because it was my first business, I didn't have the previous knowledge to know how to actually tackle those points. So I needed that first year to really get to understand how to actually then face those sort of changes in the market, changes in demand, changes in everything really, and your customers, how to identify your customers and match them to your skills. That took me the whole first year. But I would say probably where normally other people are at with their business after year two, I am not there yet. Probably I will get there by year three, hopefully earlier. But yeah, so then in year two is when I was gaining momentum, when I finally had the portfolio, where I finally had meaty case studies that could be sold. I finally understood that I have to sell the results rather than the services, what we are offering, and the two things come together. And only now, by the end of year two, when I'm understanding how important it is to communicate your skills all the time, what you know, what you can provide in a totally different way than just showcasing your client work. I am only just learning that myself. I also needed to learn a lot of new skills that I absolutely loved, but it takes time to then really go into learning that skills, being an expert, and then being able to offer that as a service. It really takes time. And I think the most important thing for me, why I would start it again, because I never learned so much. I think I said this in one of my previous videos, that the single greatest path for personal development and growth is to run a business. And I wholeheartedly am still saying that. It is so true. Nothing is more true than that. And it's absolutely amazing that how much you can learn, how many new skills you are able to pick up that are really, really essential, even just for everyday life. But even when you think that, like, why do I need to actually learn it? I just want to have an expert. But that expert you still need to oversee because you owning your own business. So I absolutely love that element. What my experience was in a corporate role, that you can learn to a certain extent and only learn skills and things that really relate to your role. If you wanted to learn something completely different at the time when I was in corporate roles and in-house creative teams and marketing teams, it was not allowed, or you were like, it just was looked at like as a waste of time. You don't have the time, then you just have to get on with your role. While here, when you're running the business, you can learn whatever you want and you can pivot your business at any point to whatever then tickles your fancy, or you feel like you are now wanting to go into something new. So originally, when I got started year one, I would have never imagined I will be my company would be running social media, and we would be offering services around social media and then full servicing clients with their production, filming, posting, community management, social media management with creative ideas on vertical and long form channels on social media, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I had never saw that coming. I came into this business, wanted to run my own productions, wanted to run my own original stories, things that I felt like there's not the right stories being told in the cinemas, on streamers. And it just became an absolute nightmare and not something that like is feasible to do. You can't make money for years and years. Now Hollywood is completely down, the streamers are not taking original content, so I needed to kind of pivot and then see that actually the social media channels can be also used for storytelling. So I had to kind of like find that path of like where my passion lies, also where money comes from. And that took me a long time, because I think as a creative, it's sometimes like the opportunities are so much, but also then like really confined into what you're normally doing. And now I'm getting to that point that like I actually also want to get my voice around, and I want to put my own passion into content and services that we are offering, one of which is the NFL. I had a couple of videos on this channel about the NFL, that how much of a fan I am and how big of a fan I am, and I am on a quest and a mission to get more people into the NFL outside of the US, and then get it growing, and just people absolutely loving the game. And the longer you go through this, you will discover that the things that you really, really want to service at one point with your clients, but with your passion, through your passion. So that needs to somehow meet. And yes, not everybody can do it, but like in the field I'm in at the moment, I can really have the luxury to able to do that. So my dream is at one point become a NFL content creator and not needing clients at one point, and then me making all the money from NFL content creation, and then I could be talking about my passion day and night and making money, and then have production, and then have original stories, and even like have documentaries of fans that who've been friends for 20 years or 50 years or 30 years, and what was their journey, how did they find the NFL, and all of this. So you can get to that stage, but you need to kind of almost have a already running business behind your back to be able to do that. And I think the biggest thing that I found with running the business is work-life balance, that I had to learn that it's not 9 to 5. I literally left 9 to 5 for 24/7. Therefore, you really have to tap into your passion, because at one point you can become an owner where you are actually not working on your business, but it's not going to come before 5, sometimes even 7, 10 years. So at the beginning, you really have to also be able to work in your business day and night without really feeling the burnout. And that's the most difficult thing. How do you do that? So you have to love what you do, or at least parts of what you do, especially when you are a small business owner. We are now not talking about, I'm not a 6, 7, 8 figures business owner. So we are talking about small business owners. In the first year, we had about 13,000 in revenue. Now we kind of going closer to the 80,000, or maybe it even will be surpassing that a little bit. But it took a lot of work. It took a lot of work. One other thing that I feel like I learned during this journey is not to watch my competition. Only watch my competition as an inspiration. What did they do? How did they do that creatively? What is the one thing that they've seen I have not seen? And it really helped me to kind of reframe and reshape my thinking around competition. That it is something that's inspiring, it is something that I want to go for, and essentially watch them to inspire me, and that those things that they do give me ideas of what I can do. Nothing to copy, not to copy ever, but what that can actually unlock in my own thinking, and then implement that in my business. And then I think one other thing that I completely underestimated, that how much networking makes a massive difference in your business. In the first 2 years, you cannot be constantly cooped up in your office. I did this wrong. So please do not follow me on that one, because I should have been out and then network even more. It's just sometimes you feel like, when do I have the time for that? I have to work every hour. I can't even see my friends and family. So when do I do the networking? But you really have to see networking is that your unlocking of your next sales opportunity, and them being able to buy into you, into your personality, and that then takes you to our next client. So it is paramount that you are networking and finding the time for networking all the time. So these first 2 years been a hard grind, but I would not change it for a word. I've never regretted one single thing. Even at the lowest of the lows, there were some really crazy stories within our business. Freelancers taking money and business away from us, like freelancers claiming that they need a large amount of money that they did not deserve. There was everything. And still, even in those lowest of lows, I just felt like, no, this is just part of this. I need to learn. I need to then make things tighter. Even with clients in the business, they will be coming and going. And even every single client leaving needs to be an opportunity, needs to be an opportunity of like, how do you tighten your contracts? How are you changing the contracts for next time? How are you actually changing your service offering? What were the learnings there? Like, and how was the client relationship, the communication, all of those things. Then okay, the next time, then you're leveling up based on all of those learnings. And I absolutely love that journey that I don't think that is possible within corporate. So yes, if you are on your journey, and someone commented on a previous video of mine that they just starting their business, so best of luck and carry on, and it's gonna be a life-changing experience, and you will absolutely love this journey. So please, if you like these videos, keep commenting, keep sharing them, like and subscribe, and I see you on the next video.